The U.S. attack on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. This morning, we're getting a look at some of the damage done over the weekend.
The unthinkable has just happened. American stealth bombers have struck deep inside Iran, targeting top-secret nuclear facilities in a mission that could change the Middle East forever. Now, Tehran is coming for revenge, and the world is holding its breath. Is this the beginning of World War III? So let's find out the whole truth. President Donald Trump announced that the United States has successfully carried out a targeted bombing operation against 3 key nuclear sites in Iran, declaring that the facilities had been obliterated. The Pentagon confirmed the attack on Sunday, stating that while a full damage assessment is still underway, initial reports indicate the sites sustained extremely severe damage. The operation, conducted in close coordination with Israel, marks a dramatic escalation in the ongoing conflict between Iran and its regional adversaries. The mission, codenamed Operation Midnight Hammer, involved a massive deployment of U.S. air power, including 125 military aircraft with 7 advanced B-2 stealth bombers leading the strike. According to General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the targeted facilities included Iran's heavily fortified nuclear sites at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The operation was meticulously planned, with bombers departing from the U.S. on an 18-hour flight. Some aircraft flew west into the Pacific as a decoy, while the main strike force comprising the B-2 stealth bombers proceeded toward Iran.
Mary Bruce, our chief White House correspondent, who is in Washington right now following all of this. And Mary, we are getting more reaction from Democrats and members of Congress. This from leader Hakeem Jeffries saying that Donald Trump promised to bring peace to the Middle East, now dramatically increased. That is going to be a criticism President Trump is going to face after these strikes, not only from Democrats, but from many in his own party.
Yeah, it sure is, Wood. And look, this is a president who long promised that he was not going to drag this country further into conflict in the Middle East. He was not going to do exactly or put himself into the position that he exactly is in now. And we have seen just this remarkable shift in the last 24 hours. I mean, it was only 24 hours ago that the White House came out, 48 hours ago that the White House came out and said that they thought there was a substantial chance of talks getting Iran back to the negotiating table. President Trump, as we know, has long been urging for negotiations, hoping to reach some kind of new nuclear deal.
Just before the bombers entered Iranian airspace, more than 24 Tomahawk cruise missiles were launched from a U.S. submarine, striking key installations at the Isfahan site. As the B-2s advanced, the U.S. military employed multiple deception tactics, including decoys, while fighter jets secured the airspace, neutralizing potential threats from enemy aircraft and surface-to-air missiles. The lead B-2 then deployed 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, MOPs, commonly known as bunker buster bombs, on the Fordo nuclear facility. In total, 14 of these powerful bombs were dropped across 2 target zones. The strikes occurred in a tightly coordinated window between 1840 and 1905 Eastern Time, after which the bombers safely exited Iranian airspace and began their return flight. General Kane noted that Iranian defenses appeared ineffective, stating, "Iran's fighters did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us." Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth emphasized that the operation was not directed at the Iranian people or military personnel, clarifying that the objective was strictly focused on disabling nuclear infrastructure. This was not and has not been about regime change, Hegseth stated. He also acknowledged Israel's critical role in planning the mission, which reportedly took months of preparation. Iranian officials have confirmed the attacks but downplayed their impact, denying that the strikes delivered a decisive blow. However, the operation represents one of the most significant military actions against Iran in recent years, raising concerns over potential retaliation and further instability in the region. As tensions continue to mount, global leaders are closely monitoring developments, with many bracing for possible repercussions in an already volatile geopolitical landscape. The Pentagon has assured that further updates will be provided as damage assessments are completed. But one thing remains clear. This operation has dramatically altered the dynamics of the Iran-US standoff, with consequences that could reverberate far beyond the Middle East.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive.
Hidden deep within a remote mountainside, Iran's Fordow nuclear site houses a critical uranium enrichment plant central to the country's nuclear ambitions. Located south of Tehran, the facility is believed to be buried even deeper than the Channel Tunnel linking the UK and France. Due to its extreme depth, only the United States possesses the type of weapon capable of reaching it, the massive GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, a 13,000-kilogram bunker buster bomb designed to pierce through 18 meters of reinforced concrete or 61 meters of earth before detonating. While the MOP is not guaranteed to fully destroy Fordow's fortified tunnels, it remains the only bomb in existence with any chance of breaching them. General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, confirmed that U.S. forces deployed 14 of these powerful bombs as part of a broader arsenal of 75 precision-guided weapons used in the strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities. Though a full damage assessment is still underway, initial reports indicate that all 3 targeted sites, Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan, suffered extremely severe damage and destruction.
Conducted a precision strike in the middle of the night against 3 nuclear facilities in Iran: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan, in order to destroy or severely degrade Iran's nuclear program. And as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs will demonstrate, it was an incredible and overwhelming success. The order we received from our commander-in-chief was focused, it was powerful, and it was clear. We devastated the Iranian nuclear program. But it's worth noting the operation did not target Iranian troops or the Iranian people.
Satellite imagery captured on June 22nd reveals 6 fresh craters at Fordow, likely marking the impact points of U.S. munitions, along with gray dust and debris scattered across the mountainside. Stu Ray, a senior imagery analyst at McKinsey Intelligence Services, told BBC Verify that the MOP bombs are engineered to penetrate deep before exploding, meaning there would be no massive surface blast. Instead, the gray debris visible in the images suggests concrete was blown outward from underground explosions. Ray also noted that tunnel entrances appear to have been deliberately sealed off, possibly by Iranian forces attempting to protect them from aerial bombardment. However, with no visible craters near these entrances, it remains unclear whether the U.S. specifically targeted them. Iran has condemned the attack as a barbaric violation of international law, though officials claim the facilities had been evacuated a while ago and that no major damage was sustained. Hassan Abedini, deputy political director of Iran's state broadcaster, asserted that nuclear materials had already been removed prior to the strike. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia and the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, have reported no abnormal radiation levels following the attack, suggesting that at least for now, there is no immediate environmental threat. The precision of the U.S. operation highlights both the sophistication of American military strategy and the challenges of neutralizing deeply buried nuclear sites. While the full extent of the damage remains under evaluation, the strikes represent a significant blow to Iran's nuclear infrastructure, raising critical questions about Tehran's next move and the potential for further escalation in an already volatile region. As global leaders monitor the situation, the aftermath of this operation could reshape the geopolitical landscape for years to come. Just hours after the United States conducted precision airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, Iran retaliated by launching a fresh barrage of missiles that struck parts of Tel Aviv and Haifa, injuring at least 86 people, according to officials. The swift escalation has heightened fears of a broader regional conflict as tensions between the two nations reach a dangerous new peak. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian condemned the U.S. attack, declaring that America must receive a response for their aggression. In a strongly worded statement, Pezeshkian emphasized Iran's willingness to engage in diplomacy under international law, but accused the U.S. of attempting to force Iran into submission rather than seeking a negotiated solution. The immediate missile strikes on Israel signaled Tehran's refusal to let the U.S. attack go unanswered, but the Iranian leadership now faces a critical strategic decision on how to proceed. According to BBC security correspondent Frank Gardner, Iran must choose between three possible courses of action, each carrying significant risks and consequences. The first option is to do nothing, avoiding further military confrontation, could spare Iran additional U.S. strikes and even open a path back to diplomatic negotiations. However, this approach risks making the regime appear weak, particularly after years of threats promising severe retaliation against any American aggression. With domestic stability already a concern, Tehran may decide that backing down would undermine its authority more than enduring further attacks. Alternatively, Iran could retaliate swiftly and decisively. The country has spent years stockpiling ballistic missiles and maintains a substantial arsenal capable of striking U.S. military bases across the Middle East. Analysts estimate that Iran has a target list of roughly 20 American installations in the region, any of which could be hit in a large-scale missile strike. Another possibility is a maritime assault using drones and fast attack boats to swarm U.S. Navy warships in the Persian Gulf, a tactic Iran has employed in the past to harass foreign vessels. Such an attack would demonstrate Tehran's military capabilities while avoiding a full-scale war, but it could also provoke an even stronger U.S. response. The third and perhaps most unpredictable option would be for Iran to bide its time and strike later, choosing a moment when tensions have eased and U.S. forces are no longer on high alert. This strategy would allow Tehran to maintain plausible deniability while still exacting revenge, possibly through proxy militias in Iraq, Syria, or Yemen. However, delaying retaliation also carries risks, as it could be interpreted as hesitation or weakness, further emboldening U.S. and Israeli military planners. As the situation continues to worsen, global leaders are urging restraint, aware that any further escalation could spiral into a wider war with catastrophic humanitarian and economic consequences. For now, the world watches anxiously as Iran weighs its next move. Let us know in the comments what you think of the whole situation, and if you want to stay on top of this, smash that like and subscribe button.